Hi everyone, welcome to Raise to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite-sized wisdom nuggets with easy-to-follow practices to live a better life. Raise to Rise podcast is supported by Ayurvedic Seva. Ayurvedic Seva is an herbal dietary supplement line set out to change the industry by dedicating the company to quality, safety, and holistic approach on making the wellness journey safe, healthy, and natural. If you want to start adding some natural herbs in your life, then head over to ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. Once again, it's ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Hello and welcome to Raise to Rise podcast. Today, I have a special guest, and before I say anything about her, one thing that I want to mention is I think we both are alike. We're like twins, maybe from past lives or maybe this lives. I have no idea how we crossed each other's path, but hey, universe gave me the gift of having another twin sister, and I'll take it. So I am so excited to bring on today. Her name is Kusum. She goes by Passion Purpose Passport on Instagram, on her social media, her website. You can all go find her out. But before we do that, let's welcome Kusum. So happy to have you with us. I'm going to call you my twin sister.
Well, thank you so much for that fabulous introduction, Vidya. I am really honored to be here. Like you said, I'm so glad that our paths crossed. I still don't know about the twin part, so you've been holding on to the suspense for so long. Hopefully time will tell, but I have a brother, so I don't have sisters. I didn't grow up with a sister, so I take all the twin sisters that are coming my way.
Oh, see that? That's why I think universe got us. And for those of you who don't know Kusum, she is a blogger, an amazing blogger, a mom, a traveler, and she does wear a lot of hats, just like I do. And that's why I say, and her energy, same as what I carry on with me. And that's why I say she's my twin sister, but yet she's going to still find out how we're twinning. But the reason we are here together for our conscious chat, and we wanted to share our raw, authentic conscious chat with you all guys together, because we're both of us were certified life coaches. And we just wanted to share our journeys with you. We do have similar journeys from F1 visa, from international students to life coaches, being moms, having a family, and coming from similar background, maybe not same culture, but coming from India with a big vision and dreams to this opportunity land. And we just wanted to share our authentic conversations with you all. So if you're ready, Kusum, to share our journeys together today, shall we start and surprise everyone?
Absolutely. I don't know about the surprise part, but I am ready to be surprised by you and share whatever I know to share best. So yes, bring it on.
Hey, she's just being so humble right now because the wisdom that she shares is just beyond my imagination, and it is definitely surprising, and it grounds me every time I read your blog, I read your captions or anything that you share. It always makes me go back to my core values, and you bring that part in your whatever you share on social media, on your website, and everything that you do. So thank you for doing everything that you're doing, and yes, you are going to surprise us. So first of all, I wanted to start how we came as a student on this land. Could you share a little bit about that student journey, your F1 visa journey?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much again, Nitil, for saying all those beautiful words, and to hear that whatever I share resonates with you on such a deep level means a lot to me. You're probably going to make me cry by the time I leave this. the J Shetty Certification School has that, something about you guys and us that every time I have a discussion, conversation, the tap opens and then there go the tears. But they're all happy tears, which is good.
Hey, that means we're humans, right? The emotions are there. We're humans. We have hearts.
And it's all good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate you for saying that and for all the kind words. That means a lot to me, more than I can express on your podcast right now. But going back to my F1 journey, this is really interesting because nobody in either of my parents' family or my mom's either of my parents, as in my mom and dad, nobody had ever gone outside the country to pursue their education. So you only know what's available to you or what you're exposed to. So up until I think third year of my engineering, I didn't even know that, coming to the US and doing masters was even an option.
Oh, wow.
So my introduction to the land of opportunities, as you mentioned early on, to the US was only through Bollywood movies, where I would see all of the actors and actresses go to all of these exotic locations and sing and dance and live life and do life. And that was my only introduction or my exposure to life outside Bangalore. That's where I'm from. But something happened when I was in my third year engineering. I joined tuitions for one of the subjects, and there the professor, the person who was teaching us, he was somebody who had gotten his master's from the US, and he'd returned because he genuinely believed that he could make a difference back home by teaching students. And I think he's done such a terrific job. He is one of the people, his name is Ganesh Rao. I don't know how many people from India, Bangalore are listening to this. But back at that time, he taught in MS Ramaya College, and I went to his tuitions, and he's sort of the first person who introduced the thought in my head that, oh, this is an option. You could do your master's, blah, blah. And I just held on to that thought like a leech.
I'm so glad you did.
I know. And then when I actually spoke about that, I mean, I came back home excited kid, right? You hear something new, you're so excited, you want to share that with your parents. I did. And they didn't take me seriously. They didn't dismiss it either. They're like, yeah, she came home, she's talking about something new, blah, blah, blah. But then they didn't realize how strongly it was being deep-rooted in what I wanted to do. And for me, I believed in science even back then. Not the science, but the science that you see. So one thing led to another, and all of those things happened. And you're supposed to do your GRE exams and TOEFL and all of that. And that's when I started talking about this seriously at home. And my dad was like, have you lost your mind? Because he didn't think that leaving India and going abroad to pursue your education was not something anybody in our family had ever done. And we didn't even think financially it was possible for our family. Like Jay says, we always had just enough, and I don't come from a family of riches. There was always like abundance of love and caring, and always thinking that, oh, my daughter should be really well educated. But beyond that, they didn't think that meant getting my engineering degree and then getting a good job. But that never translated to, oh, go abroad, pursue your master's, blah, blah, whatever. Anyway, so my dad was like, you've lost your mind to be even talking about this. And I wouldn't shut up. That is all that I spoke about all day.
Wow.
And my mom has always been that, she never had the opportunity to go to college or, work outside. And her family never really supported her with that respect. And from a very young age, she's always been that support. Like, no matter how much my daughter wants to study, I want her to study. If that means that we have to sell the house that we live in, we are going to do that, whatever it takes, right? And I also have my younger brother, who also has been like my biggest support. He might be my younger brother, but back then I still very distinctly remember sitting in our living room having this discussion with my dad. But I had to do no talking. My mom and my brother, they did all the talking to convince my dad
Oh, wow.
that this is what she's going to do. And if it comes down to us having to make other sacrifices, we will. And my dad is somebody, once he's convinced, he'll go all in. And that was it. The moment he was convinced, and he had to do so many things to just to make sure that I was going to come here. But here I am now. I think it's been 12, 13 years since then. All the sacrifices or all the efforts they put in. I came to the US, did my master's, I worked in the corporate world, and I quit my job 5 years ago. When we moved to Seattle, I started blogging, and now I am a life coach. So going from engineering to F1 to H1B, people coming from India, they can resonate.
Yeah.
Because I quit my secure job, I also transitioned to H4 at one point. Until I got my H4 EAD when I started blogging. So
okay.
I'm a long way. Yes.
Yeah, that immigration life, I tell you, is something. But it's very beautiful journey, because that's when we grow. Because I remember when I came as just like you said, nothing. I come from a, how they call it, what, middle class family, right? And my dad only had dreams. My dad always wanted to come to US. He had family. The difference between my journey and your journey that I noticed just now, I had families here, but I never wanted to go and live with my families. And somehow universe had my back. Universe had my back, and I got a scholarship from this university in Montana. Now, coming from Mumbai to Montana, from hot to cold, where nobody's there, I didn't know anyone in that part of US, because all my dad's brother and sister, they lived here, but they were on East Coast. And I said, I don't want to go, because I want to be an independent person. I want to do everything on my own, and I want to learn. I have always been that person who likes to do everything on her own. And when you said about TOEFL and GRE, because I came as an undergrad student, that reminded me that I failed my TOEFL exam the first shot. I come from a Gujarati medium school, so no English whatsoever. I didn't speak English until I got here in US. Matter of fact, August 19, 2006 is when I landed to my university. So 14 years ago, we're talking about 14 years ago. And when you're sharing that, everything's like flashing back to me about my journey. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And the difference for me was, it was my dad who wanted me to come to US. It was his dream. And when he said, would you like to go to US? And, I'm a science person. I wanted to study. He's like, would you like to go to US to study? And I said, sure. But I was like, but what am I going to study? So I wanted to be a doctor back then, but I knew that my dad cannot afford my tuition. So I said, Dad, what do you think I can do? So he's like, let's ask these, back then they had all these coaching classes, whatever for US abroad, you have these classes. In Mumbai, they had a lot of those. So I enrolled in one of those, and they said, you can do biotechnology because it's booming field in US back in 2006. And I said, okay, sure. So I chose my major according to what they told me. When I got here, I kind of liked it. I am a very, you can easily mold me, and you can easily influence me. I can do, I will give my 100% too, whether I like it or not. I'll just stick with it, because I don't like to let anyone down back then. Not now. Now I'm a very strong-willed person. If I want to do this, I'm going to do this kind of a person. But it was so funny how then I chose biotechnology because somebody else told me to. Then I switched it to microbiology, because I got a project with NASA, and the microbiology was so interesting. So I started doing that. And then when I moved to New Jersey after my marriage, I didn't find anything microbiology. So then I chose biochemistry. I again just switched it. So I switched my major so many times here. just so that I could facilitate others' needs through my bachelor's. But I mean, that being said, I still love my science. I love my job. I work as a quality control manager and I love what I do. But then I chose this life coaching route. And I really want to I really want to know, coming back to you, like, why did you decide to become a life coach? Because you said you left your corporate job, like, or, you know, your well-established job and career. Why did you leave the career, and why did you decide to become a life coach?
It's very interesting. But before I get to that, here's another nugget for you.
Oh.
In terms of similarities, I wanted to become a doctor too.
Hey!
And it was either engineering or becoming a doctor back then, right? Yeah. And here's another interesting aspect of that is that we had to write something called as a CET entrance exam.
Yes.
And I got a seat in medicine in North Karnataka, in some university in North Karnataka, from Bangalore. Not too far away. It was just a train ride away.
Right.
But then my parents didn't want to send me, and neither was I interested in going there, right?
Wow.
4 or 5 years later, guess where I am?
Exactly.
I'm boarding a flight to come here.
That's so funny. Now I have a similar aspect. My dad never wanted me to go forget about out of state, out of city, or even the next town. He was very particular. Like, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. So I grew up in a very restrictive family. My dad would not allow me to even go for grocery shopping with my mom. We were just not allowed. I lived in Mumbai, and you know how the city probably was back then. I don't know now, but we were just not allowed to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, when he said, okay, you're going to US, so many people asked him questions. You don't even allow your daughter to go from one state to another state by herself in the train or in the bus. How are you allowing your daughter to go from Mumbai to Montana by flight all by herself? And my dad's like, well, because I know that that's the right place for her. And I took it as that, it's because my dad said that it's the right place for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go because my dad, that wants me to go. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I stuck with that choice, that he said, you're going there. And I said, I'm going there. It's fine. My clause was that I don't want to stay with anyone that you know or your family. I want to be by myself. And he's like, sure. So I had that freedom, and thank God. But let's get back to why did you choose to become a life coach?
This is something that's been on my mind for a while now. Life takes you places. Love brings you home.
So good. Oh, thank you. No, that's incredible. That's so true.
Yeah. So that's it's been like for me with my engineering, with my master's, with my corporate world job, with New York City, with working on Wall Street, and then blogging, all of the things, life and love brings you home. Life coaching.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I do want to take that second. And if any of you didn't hear that, what she just said, life takes you places, but love brings you home. Right? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Like, just let it sink that. And that is so true. Like, it's just like, aha moment right there. Because you're super passionate about traveling, from what I know. You're always, apart from this COVID and actually that has not even stopped you from going anywhere, because you've been hiking. Hey, you've been hiking right now too. So nothing has stopped you from your traveling aspect. But that's amazing. I love that. Like, and that's why you started blogging, and that's why you chose to become a life coach.
It didn't really hit me until recently, until I became a life coach. But that quote is something, I am a huge, huge, huge quotes person. It really speaks to me. Like, I have tons of things that has quotes all over. And that's why you see me. I don't know if you follow my stories. I will have quotes here and everywhere. Anyway, so But when I became a life coach is when it hit me that, oh, you know what, this quote that I so strongly believe in is actually what my life has been like, right? I have done all of these things. It is all part of life, but then at the end of the day, love is what brings you home. And I genuinely feel, I mean, I can't even put into words what being a life coach is meant to me, because even just this morning, my day right now, I don't know, I think it's 3:30 here or something.
Yeah.
My time. I've been doing this from 7 a.m. this morning. I've been on different calls, except one call where it was like a team thing. But otherwise, every single call, I've been able to make an impact, add value.
Incredible.
And now that I'm talking to you, this is something that's coming to me. So today is our festival, as I was telling you, right? Today is Gaudi Festival. So if people are listening to this at a later time, know that today is the day before Ganesh Chaturthi.
Yes.
Anyway, so my parents are always like, my parents and my in-laws are like, why do you schedule so many calls on the days of festivals, blah, 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 because you still need to do all of the things. Then I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, you know what? Sure, I do want to pray. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person, or that's how I like to see. But I do pray and I do follow the rituals and traditions, because that's what's close to home for me. And that's what I grew up with. That's grounding for me. And I think to me, that's where I also can impart some of the tradition and the whatever I grew up with to my son. I have a 3-year-old. So then I was thinking, okay, what would I be doing if I was not on these calls? I would be prepping for the puja, I would be cooking and all of those things. But at the end of the day, what does all of that add up to? It all adds up to praying and serving God. But God doesn't really need that. He's fine. He's up there. He's living his life. But if I really want to celebrate the occasion and celebrate the festival, the closest thing that I can do to celebrating the festival is actually doing what I know to do best. To, help people that need me or add value to someone's life. And on every single call today, I genuinely feel like, just before I got on the call with you, a 1-hour call ended up becoming a 1.5 hours call where there were tears exchanged on both sides, happy tears. But they were the other person on the other side. She had breakthroughs. She had some amazing aha moments. And that is exactly what I want to do. And now when I had that thought, that light bulb go off for me this morning, I'm like, you know what, I need to tell my mom this, but then she's sleeping.
First thing in the morning tomorrow on Ganesh Chaturthi, she's going to hear that you have actually did a justice to the festival by serving other fellow humans, other fellow spiritual beings who needed you the most, right? Who you could share your gifts with that God gave you.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if I pray in the morning at 6 o'clock or if I pray in the evening at 6 o'clock. You are my last call for the day today. So after this, I'm going to go at 4:30, start prepping. It doesn't matter. God doesn't care what time you pray, when you pray, if it's coming from a place of genuineness.
Yes.
And if you really feel it, rather than being forced to do it, that's all that matters. Because this was very fresh in my mind, because 2-3 weeks ago, it was also one more festival for us. This is something that we celebrate down south. I don't celebrate it elsewhere. Lakshmi festival, and the exact same thing happened where we had I had back-to-back calls, and both of them, they're like, I couldn't even wish them in the morning, because for them it's already their day is over. I couldn't even wish them in the morning. But then I was like, I was feeling bad and guilty. I'm like, you know what? I couldn't even make like 2 minutes time to call them and wish them. But then I told myself, my parents and my in-laws, they really believe in service, doing good to other people. I'm actually living that. And there's no need for me to feel guilty about it. So this is my way of finding my way around feeling guilty about things.
Hey, nothing's wrong in it. I really buy that. I
Yeah,
buy that. It's not about, feeling guilty, but it's
yeah,
about, are you aligned with your values? Are we aligned with that intention and that, the serving part of our value that we talk about and we learn during our, like, on our spiritual paths or from our parents? That's what we learn. Help others.
exactly,
That's what you're
exactly.
doing. That's what you're living. So, hey, I'm all in that too. Like, I totally 100%
And
agree.
that was my aha moment sometime between running between my phone calls on the computer downstairs to grab water. I'm like, you know what? Wait, this is why I'm doing this, because this actually adds value to my life and to others' life rather than me just, making something delicious and then feeding it to God, like pseudo feeding it to God and then eating
Yeah.
ourselves. So yeah.
That's amazing because you literally like just summed up, because I wanted to ask you that, what do you love about coaching the most? And I think I got that answer from what you were saying. Like, you're so passionate about making that impact, giving those breakthroughs to your clients. That's what I hear. Is that something that does that resonate? Like, what are your values to go along with your clients?
For me, the bottom line is adding value to their life.
Mm,
It's the most precious 1 hour for me, and it's
mm-hmm,
really sacred for me. And if they come to me to have a chat with me, it's not just a chat, right? They are not
mm,
having those heart to heart conversations with just anybody. I mean,
yeah.
it's hard to even have the heart to heart conversation if you are not in a good relationship with your, it
Yes.
could be your partner, or it could be your family, or it could be your friends. But then
Mm-hmm.
it is the reason people are going to see coaches,
Mm,
right? So I really want to make sure that they get the most value
mm-hmm.
out of that 1 hour chatting with me. Have them think about things that they don't typically think about. And it's not necessary that they are going through something bad in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I see, again, one of those things that I've been saying recently is like, you don't go see a life coach because you are in pain, but you go see a life coach because you have a goal in your life and you
Mm-hmm.
feel or you think that goal is worth pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
Any goal. It can be you are in a bad relationship and you want to get better,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be that, hey, you want to just make your morning routine better, right? Because that's going to add value to every other aspect of your day to day life, and then have an impact on your own personal growth and impact on your family and your friends. So it
Mm-hmm.
all starts there. So if you have a goal worth pursuing, then it's worth having a life coach. You don't need to
Mm-hmm.
be paid.
No, I absolutely agree with that. And I love the way you put it in. Like, if you have a goal, and if that's when you reach out to a life coach, and that's when you have a coach. And the second thing was, because they don't have anybody who would understand or who would listen to them, hence they come to you, because you're providing that conscious and sacred space for them. You're there to listen. And for those of you who are listening to me right now, they must, my listeners must be thinking like, hey, normally you talk about the conscious living, you talk about parenting, you talk about Ayurveda. What is this life coach right now? Why are we talking about life coach? The reason I brought, like, and the reason I wanted Kusum to come on our show today is because look at her values, how conscious she is about serving the clients. She is providing that space to others and to give them the breakthroughs and values. And because that aligns with my values, and that's why she's here. That's why we got a life coach. And hey, she's also a parent. We will ask her about her parenting life, but some other day. Today, we're gonna focus all on her, how she serves. The next question I wanted to ask Kusum is, what specific areas do you focus on when you are coaching your clients?
To be very honest, I don't coach anybody on a specific topic.
Okay.
I coach the person.
Hey, I like that. Drum roll, please. Can I clap? Love that. Love that answer. And I wanted to take that opportunity and say that because we're J students, we're capable to say that, and we're saying that because that's what we learned from our coach, right? And I'm so glad that you're stuck with that point. I was testing you. I'm gonna tell Jay, hey Jay, if you're listening, we were just chilling and testing each other if we know what we're doing.
I know we had a live exam on podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
After we both graduated from the school.
But yeah, no, I love that you coach a person and not the topic.
Yeah, not the problem. Coach the person, not the problem at hand. And I think that's been my biggest takeaway from the school, as well as that this is something that I'm going to go off tangent here, go on a tangent here, off topic, is basically that going back to the previous point that I was making is if you have a goal worth pursuing, it's worth having a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
To be very honest, in my own life, because I've been on the path of personal development and self-growth and all of that for a long time, I don't really, I'm at a place right now, or I've been at a place where I don't personally have any big issues that I need to address. I was happy with what I was doing, that is blogging. Mm-hmm. But somewhere I felt like after I've been doing this for a little bit, for a few years now, I was like, I think there is more that I can do. More that I can be. And if I don't do that, I'm going to be doing a disservice to myself. And I'm not really making the most use of what I have been blessed with. And that is really hard for me to make peace with. If I know that there's more and I'm not doing that, then it's like, I'm not doing justice to all of this that I have in life. What am I doing? I have a good life. I have a good family. I have good friends. All of that is great. But how am I making an impact? How am I using these to help other people see their own value, see their strengths, understand their gifts, or see what they can do? So for me, I think J School, if not for that, I will say this in the middle of night, early in the morning, whenever I wake up, I'm like, I had no problems in life and I didn't know what else I wanted to do. But then it just so happened when I asked the question, the doors opened. You're like, guess what? This is what, right? I'm not saying everybody needs to be a life coach, but then I realized that that's where my heart and soul was. I did not know that. And now that I do, I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do every single day. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm excited. And I wake up feeling excited to do that. And there's no looking back. So that's what Jay, as the life coach, even though he didn't coach me personally, wish I did. We all do. But then through whatever he's doing, he showed me where that full potential lied for me. And that's exactly as life coaches, you and I do for other people, showing what their full potential is. They could be at an amazing place right now. There's always more. And if there's always more, why will you shut the door on that always more? Because not for you, but for others. Why would you not do that? Because the world is right now suffering and people really use the help. If you're in a great place, then use that opportunity to help other people who are not in such a great place.
For sure. And, I do want to add a point here. When you said, you asked and the doors were open, you won't believe I did not know I wanted to be a life coach until the school launched. Like literally I think I just joined the Path because Jay launched Pathway program for that 21 day, the initial. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try because it's Jay's product. Hey, he's my life coach, we know we're in part of Genius, and he's been a life coach. And I take every advice of him very seriously because you were probably at a place and at a space where you didn't needed help. But the way I found Jay is when I really needed help. And when I really wanted to do something I wanted to do something out of my life, I wanted to do more than what I was, I didn't want to settle down with what I had, and I needed help too. So that's how I got into, Jay. And then when this program launched, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. Even though this is not for me, I'm like really passionate to serve other parents. I really want to do something and help, make a bigger impact and direct impact. That's my like purpose. I want to make a direct impact in someone's life and make a big difference. So I was like, I don't know about this coaching thing. If I'm, coach material kind of a deal. I just joined. And the very first lesson, I was like, dude, I already do this. And then when I shared my views and I got a comment back from the school, they're like, yes, you're a coach. I was like, you kidding me? I am a coach. And I just took that point. I was like, then I had to I literally, reflected on my whole personal development journey, what I have been doing, how can I serve more? Because I already had a podcast at that point. I knew I'm really passionate about speaking. I'm passionate about, I'm a people person. I love to work with people. And I was like, okay, I think this sounds good. So I was like, you know what? I enrolled in school. Okay, I enrolled in school. I still didn't know if this is something that I'm going to continue or if this is something I'm going to be good at it. To my surprise, when the feedbacks from supervisors came, they said, is this your, do you do this? And I said, no, this is my first time. And they're like, well, it doesn't seem like this is your first time. You're so natural. And I was like, God gifted me. What was I doing just sitting on this gift? Like how you said, we're not doing justice with our gifts and we're keeping others away from our gifts. So it's not right. And here we are now. Hey, we're life coaches. We're here to serve you. We're here to help you, to guide you, get your potentials out and live your life to the fullest and thrive. Just thrive in your life. Don't survive. Because when we get in that mindset, that survival mindset, we don't go anywhere and we don't feel meaningful and, the life doesn't seem like it's fulfilling. But instead of just, what I was going to say, instead of just
Right.
surviving, let's thrive better. See, I lost my word, how excited I got about all this whole thing. But thank you for making me think and thank you for making me share that point. I appreciate that.
No, that's really it, because that's exactly what I said. In fact, that's exactly what I was telling somebody who I was chatting with on the previous call is that how many people are in that surviving mode versus thriving mode, right? You need to realize that surviving, I go from day to day, I just take life the way it comes. I'm not taking control of things. I'm not designing my own goals. I'm not designing my own destiny. Sure, things worked out great for you, but then if you took things in your own hands and if you're able to do a little bit more for other people, then why not doing that? I feel so strongly about that.
It's why not? Let's, we gotta, as soon as you find your own potential, let's do something. What can we do for others, right? It's and life coaching is about that. What can I do for you? It's not about what can I get, right? It's about, so that's what we do, and we're both super passionate about. In fact, Kusum carries that passion, wherever she goes, and she calls herself passion, purpose, passport. So you do call yourself. I don't want to say myself. I do want you to tell the way you call yourself on the blogs that you are a passion lady, purpose.
I am.
And I love that. I love the way you say it. And I really want you to say that.
I say I am a woman of passion with purpose.
See? And carry the passport around and go.
You're hilarious. Thank you.
No, but I love that. And that, I think that was it was a very catchy to me when I read. So Kusum has, all those intentions, and she does put those intentions out, whether it's through her website name, her handles, her work, her values, whatever wisdom she shares. So make sure you all go share, and follow her journey, because guess what? You're going to gain the most out of this. So it's about you right now. It's about us, what we're gaining from her knowledge, from what she's sharing. Well, thank you so much, Kusum. I really enjoyed our chat. And if this was up to me, I would just, keep on chatting with you all day, all night.
I know. You and I can keep keep talking all week, and then the listeners would be like, okay, these two women and ladies and girls are busted because they have nothing else to do.
See what I mean? That's why I call ourselves call that you're my twin sister, because we have that energy, and it's like we're always on a high mode, and it's just we just can't shut up.
It's contagious.
It's very contagious. And so I do want to let you go because, she's celebrating her festival today. But before we let you go, could you tell us a little bit about your current offerings that you're offering? Where can our listeners find you, and how can they benefit from your service?
Well, first of all, again, thank you so much, Mithil, for this opportunity, for chatting with me. I know we chat very often, but then this is happening on your podcast, so that means a lot. So right now, I'm doing one-on-one coaching. I'm a transformation and results coach. So basically, I help you overcome the obstacles, the self-limiting beliefs, or the doubts, or a lack of confidence, or whatever it is, right? Or just feeling overwhelmed that, oh, I want to do something with my life, but I don't know what that is yet. So I basically am there to just sit there and ask you all the questions that you wouldn't have asked yourself. It's interesting because this morning I'm also with one-on-one coaching. I also do group coaching. I launched my pilot program, and I have 9 ladies in that right now.
Wow.
All 9 amazing ladies bring different kinds of energy from different backgrounds, lots of knowledge. But the one thing they've all realized, and I've only been, this was our second week talking, and the one big takeaway for every single person, if I may say so, because they've shared this, is the questions that I've been asking them, the prompts that I've been sharing with them. All of these things have never been the things that they've asked themselves. So it was like, hey, I'm getting to know myself better. Yeah. And that, in a nutshell, is what life coaching is supposed to do.
Yes.
And that's what you and I do with all of our clients. It's basically, you have all the answers in you. And that's what we all believe as life coaches. Everybody that graduates from Jay's school, I can confidently say we are all, and we strongly, genuinely believe that you have all the answers. I'm not going to be sitting there and telling you what to do with your life. You already know that. Sometimes you're not listening to that because you're allowing all of those self-doubts and limiting beliefs to hover over all of the positive things that you have going on in your life.
Like Jay would say, the noises. We're listening to the noise, and where's the voice? We're just not even bothered to listen to our voice.
Yeah. So just like Mithil, she's not talking about herself, but I'm just going to say what she does, is that we are basically sitting on the opposite side, taking what do you call that? Like the SWAT or the spatula or whatever.
The wand, the magic wand.
Not the magic wand. I mean, when you hear those negative voices come up and pop up, then
or the villain.
Not your time, not your time, not your time. Yes, you're the positive voice. You get to talk because they've been talking for years now.
Yes.
It's not their time, they're done. So that's what we do. Yeah.
Yes. I really love that, the way you put it. And yes, how from the school that, we both graduated, J school, we were literally taught that as a coach, you're not there to advise anyone. You're not there to give them the answers that, that would just serve them. Because if we were to do that, they can go to anyone. They can go to any family member or anything. But this is where we differ. This is where we come in the picture. We don't advise you, but we help you get your answers from within yourself. That way you can go for a long run and not just a shortcut or, got the answer, done. Okay, now what? What's next? But when you get the coaching, you'll know what to do next on your own. You don't need any advice or any more noise or another voice from outside, and you can just listen to your own voice.
That's exactly why we say coach the person and not the problem. When you give someone a fish, you're feeding them for a day, and when you teach them how to fish, they're going to feed themselves every single day. And that's what we both strongly believe in. Again, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Mithil. Means a lot. I'm so glad to have found you. And happy belated Ganesh Chaturthi to everybody celebrating when you do hear this.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening, and stay tuned until next week. Thanks for listening to Raise to Rise podcast. We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts about today's episode. Please let me know you have listened to this episode and fill me with your aha moment. Share it on Instagram, tag me with hashtag Raise to Rise or at Raise to Rise, and I would love to share those to my stories and shout you out there. I would also love if you can subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's our brand new podcast launch, and we have some bonus giveaways going on for the top raters and reviewers. Also, I would love to send you my 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. All you gotta do is leave me a review in the iTunes store, take a screenshot, and email it over at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com. Again, take a screenshot of the review and email me at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com, and I will send you the 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. Thank you so much for being the active listener of this podcast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for raising your consciousness and rising as joyful beings.